It recognizes our belief in God, our country, not just individuals, our country, our founding fathers codified this in the documents that founded this country. Our reliance, our belief in God, and our reliance upon God. Of that, there's just no debate on that. You may like it, may not like it. Declaration of Independence, we find these truths to be self-evident, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, of which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. It goes on in the Constitution to say we are putting together this Constitution in a preamble to secure the blessings, not only for ourselves, for posterity. And that Constitution followed with a Bill of Rights that enumerated those godly rights given to man, including the very first one, which was the right to believe in God and to express that belief anytime, anywhere, including the public square.
33 million. It's proven to the money investors that people want something to feed their souls, not just their worst desires.
Absolutely.
And
yes, indeed.
This kind of sums up my entire dialogue career on the heat of the night. You ready for this? Okay, this is it. My 7 years on the heat of the night. My dialogue all summarized in this. Get right on it, Chief.
Captain Skinner, but Bubba's my name. I like my iced teas.
What the hell's going on out here? Everybody's grabbing out there. Nobody.
That the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
So, 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank Almighty! We are free at last!
Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now. 559-899-1550.
And we're back on the air. Surprise, surprise. Taco Tuesday.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I don't know how much of that intro there. Let's put it this way. We have a little bit of fun here on Taco Tuesdays with Bullet Bob Leone here.
Oh, my
you
word.
get two great school buddies together. Boomerville and the old I don't give a you-know-what comes into play at about 70 years old. And we're having a good time and hope. And thank you, folks, for tuning in. Social media, we had the full show yesterday, although the lips were out of sync a little bit, like mine can get from time to time unintentionally. But I guess we lost the radio feed, Jeremy, about halfway through. Oh, gosh, you guys missed some brilliant stuff.
I'm sure.
I mean, I just, it just hurts my heart to know that you missed. We talked about conspiracy theories.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You know, that time that flying saucer came out there at Riverdale and went down there and just plucked up old David Boone. Took old David Pool up by Hill's Pool, took him out there and operated on him, come down, never the same. Ever since then.
Hey, by the way,
What?
we're celebrating today
What?
the first victory of the season for the Riverdale High Cowboys.
Hey, go
Last
Cowboys.
Wearing my green shirt.
Man,
They beat Tranquility.
Beat the always powerful Tranquility Tigers on Friday night.
And, well, I tell you, I love high school football.
Well, I'm going to report on the Cowboys every week through the season so our fans know
Great.
what their record's going to be and who they're playing. Not that they would know any of the teams that they're playing.
I'll go to high school games where, I called you up. Hey, let's go to Carruthers and see the Carruthers. But I'll go see a high school game of, like Bullard playing Fresno High, what have you. Because they play so hard, and I'll go out, kind of by myself over there, and I'll sit, and people look at you a little different, though. It's like you're the old man at the park, sitting on the bench looking at the kids.
It's always interesting.
They're looking at you like, hey, old man, what are you doing here? Do you have a kid out there? No. What are you doing here on school grounds watching a football game? But I don't care.
Well, it's always interesting going with you, though, because a lot of people, just because of who you are, know you, and you're recognizable, and they always want to come up and start a conversation, and they ask, can I have your autograph? Well, I have to turn them down. So then I have them look at you, and they said, no, I wanted his. I said, "What? You can have mine anytime you want."
You know those Bullet Bob autographs? You know what they're going on eBay now? Have you seen one of your autographs?
I think
it's up there in triple figures, man.
I don't think so, but
well,
yeah, high school football. We're going to keep folks across the nation informed of the Riverdale High Cowboys.
Well, folks, we appreciate the radio folks. You're back. Are we back, or did the brain go dead again on Olive? We're not brain dead here today. Okay, well, we're all. Some would say we're all brain dead, always, or me. But it's good to have you folks back. Sorry about the glitch. Happens from time to time on every radio station. But we're back. A lot to cover today. A lot of stuff going on. But again, us boomers out there, what boomer do you know? Because there was things that every boomer knows. Every one of them. Like, for example, what boomer could not finish this song? A horse is a horse.
Of course.
Of course. Every boomer would know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice. But, in this fragmented world we're living in now, there's not that sense of community. I don't know where I'm going with this other than, dadgum, just start watching some Mr. Ed reruns.
Yeah, music brings us together.
Yeah,
where you headed on
a
this
talking horse brings us together. Nothing like a good old talking horse to make you forget the war in the Ukraine. Oh, Wilbur. What's old Zelensky doing? Well, I don't care. Let's talk about, where's all those escapist sitcoms that were not filthy and dirty?
Hey,
Green Acres.
Speaking of escapist sitcoms.
Yes.
Did you know that today, one of the most famous sitcom personalities was born?
Who might that be?
That would be the lovely Barbara Eden.
Ooh, I Dream of Jeannie.
I Dream of Jeannie, or I Dream of Barbara.
I had a crush on her.
Oh,
did you?
She is 91 today.
Get out of here.
Yep. Born on August 23rd, 1931.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, she just made you feel good being out.
Lady,
she looked, but she just, her prickiness, she was just I Dream of Jeannie. That's escapism I'm talking about. Remember who played the her master? Boy, that's politically incorrect now. Yes, master. Tell him what to do.
The late Larry Hagman.
Larry Hagman. Yep. And Larry directed about 9 in the Heat of the Night episodes. Got to know him real well.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah.
And what a great down-to-earth guy. We'd be out at restaurants, and he was a good tipper, but he'd also leave this fake money with JR's picture on it. And the waitresses would come over, and there would be their tip, but there would be the JR money. And I remember we're sitting there, a group of us, and I'm sitting right next to him, and the first time I'd seen it, I looked at it, and I looked at him, and I'll never forget his words. He looked at me, and he goes, lest they ever forget.
Well, you can't forget that.
Very great sense of humor. He and Carol O'Connor, I guess, went way back. They were friends way back in the struggling days, and they both kind of, I guess you could say, hit it big.
Yeah, just a little.
With their sense kind of from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Yep.
Made a lot of money, but brought us a lot of enjoyment as well. You know what? We were talking about getting older. And I was in the gym, and you always learn something if you keep your open mind as you get older. The things that kind of you thought were right may be wrong. You reevaluate. As Socrates says, the unexamined life is not worth living. So you want to constantly examine yourself.
Exactly. Sure.
And I used to think that old man, when they would put that top lip over there, is because they didn't have any teeth. that they were coming to do. Yeah. And I was in the gym lifting. Now, prior to what I saw in the mirror today, I would always grit my teeth like that when I was lifting the weight. With gritted teeth. See? Yeah. You listen on radio, you can't see what I'm saying. Social media can't. Grit the teeth. But now I'm doing this. The old man top lip, bottom lip, automatically goes over the top. I'm going up going, that's Gabby Hayes. That's me. That's old Gabby. And it just happened. It seemed like overnight. I mean, the old man, and I was totally wrong. Okay, Bobby. All right, time to get serious. Okay. You teased me with some info about Joe Biden and his poll numbers. Now, when you say that phrase, automatically most of us say, okay, what's the Trafalgar, Pew polls, all of these polls that are taken within the United States by reputable polling companies. But you got me because you said, hey, I got some news on Joe Biden's poll numbers or approval ratings or what people think about Biden around the world.
Yes.
And then you said you were going to tell me, and you said, no, you wanted to surprise me. So why don't you surprise us? Or maybe it's not too surprising.
Well, it may not be to some folks.
Okay. Around the world.
Or it may be. Well, in June of 2021, Pew Research Center did a poll.
So Pew did this, but around the world.
Yeah. Okay. And they asked leaders in certain countries. Now, it wasn't specific as to which leaders these were, or they represented a country. And the question was, are you optimistic that Joe Biden would do the right thing, whatever that is, in world affairs? And he got a very good approval rating at that point. They then went back and did another poll in July of 22, so just 3 weeks ago or so, a month ago. 18 countries were surveyed. Out of those 18 countries, 58% had confidence that Joe Biden would do the right thing. 42, no confidence that he would do the right thing. That in and of itself kind of surprised me. The two countries with the highest percentage that he would do the right thing were South Korea at 70% and Japan at 62%. So 70% of those people polled in South Korea felt he would do the right thing whenever in
which means give them more money.
Well, they didn't specify what the right thing is, but I thought those were some pretty startling numbers. I mean, we sit here and we think, this guy's got no clue, nothing. But apparently around the world, there is still some thought that he would do the right thing.
But you said 18 countries?
18 countries.
Well, there's how many? Over 100 countries in the world.
Right.
Excuse me.
Obviously, just a small sample.
Yeah.
But
well, I could see how those staunch allies, and again, I'm like you. I'd like to know how deep they went into the population, what demographics they used.
And what is the right thing?
Yes.
You got to qualify that.
Exactly.
Quantify that.
I just can't see the rest of, much of the rest of the world after Afghanistan, seeing that debacle there. The refusal to really get the vaccine for COVID in a meaningful way to other countries. The America First thing, and I'm for 100%. But they expected Biden to go out and be really push to get those vaccines to some of your struggling countries over in Africa and South America, so on and so forth. So anyway, well, that is interesting. Again, no matter, I don't see, again, that's a loaded question, the right thing.
Yeah. And who were they proposing this question to?
But again, I'm not
posing this question to.
Exactly.
So.
And then a small sampling on the 18 countries.
Small sample, but does it surprise you that South Korea and Japan were two of the highest?
It really doesn't.
No? Okay.
No, because they are so dependent on American aid and whoever's in office at the time. I would imagine the same thing would have been said about Trump.
Well, that was going to be my other question.
Any American presidents, those those cultures, to be honest with you, I'm going to make a broad stroke, which I don't normally do,
Don't profile.
but mostly our Asian partners are very loyal to whoever's in office. They try not to rock the boat, get so deeply involved in the politics of America, and whoever Americans pick as their leader, excuse me, they usually back up them. If you look, you don't see any scathing comments coming from South Korea or Japan in terms of the leadership, whether it's Republican or Democrat, whether they're popular or not, coming out of Japan and South Korea.
Yeah, so more just the fact that it's the United States versus whomever may be in office.
Yeah,
they're going to support.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my take on it.
Okay.
Let's see. Hey, folks. Oh, yeah. I guess we're going to break. Is the brain acting up?
Jeremy.
Brain likes Mr. Big Stuff.
I don't know what that had to do.
Oh, boy. Well, there were some people really happy that, we're back on the air. We do have a few fans out there. I wear my Autry's Army shirt here. Thank you.
Hey, that looks good.
Laura, yeah. People have been asking where you can get one of these. And we'll work with Laura and see if we can work a thing out with whomever made these and be able to make them available to folks who want them, and whatever proceeds. We're not going to overprice the thing, but, it's cost of making them, make sure that people are covered, and they make a little bit and we can give the rest to charity. But my buddy Chewy was really upset that we were off. Chewy was actually a fan of the very first radio show I did way back in the day. And we went off, and I heard he was kind of depressed, but he's so excited. Is Chewy on the line? Well, thank you, Chewy. He's a real loyal
I hadn't
listener,
heard it expressed
and he's
that
very
way,
happy.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Very happy
Yeah,
we're
sounds like
back
it.
on there. I think he speaks for most of the Autry's Army. He's a captain of the Army that we're back on the air. Every once in a while, it's happened. I'm not going to say a whole lot, but a couple, 2-3 times. I've gotten an email or this and that saying, hey, you're just using Sean Hannity talking points or Tucker Carlson talking points. You just, you talked about, they talked about this thing and pointed out this aspect of the news as a lead story and how important it is. And you did the same thing. You copied them. Well, here's the deal. I listened to it all. God help me. I watch CNN. I watch Fox News. I want to know what people are thinking out there. I believe in a 50-50 country. You need to respect the opinions of all, whether you agree with them or not. That's just my feeling. But here's the thing. Our show live here, we're live right now, comes on at 12 p.m. Pacific Coast time. That's 2 p.m. Central time, Pearl, right? Well, and 3 p.m.
Back east.
Back east. Neither one of those shows, Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson, start before 3. I think Carlson starts at 5, I believe, and then Hannity comes on right after them. So if there's any stealing of top stories to talk about, which I don't believe there is, it'd have to be them. Their show hasn't been on yet. I can't steal with something I haven't seen. They don't even go on the air. And believe me, I'm not on Tucker Carlson's, constant contact email list or Sean Hannity's. I wouldn't I'd be honored if it was. And some folks at CNN, you want to send me an email and keep me abreast of your stories that you're going to be talking about day to day, we'd love to have it. But the fact is we don't. So I don't know what to tell you. It's what we may coincide some of the subjects. Obviously we will. The Mar-a-Lago situation, all the Ukraine war, the CDC admitting that they lied to all of us. I mean, these are stories that everybody's going to cover. Yeah. And if certain aspects or angles that we go or takes that we make or assumptions that we make or determinations that we make or judgments that we make on this show with Bullet and I today is pure coincidence, and some of it would probably, Burrow would become under the banner of logic. You know, like I said, you know, the other day, you know, with Fauci retiring, I made the point. What prompted this today was I got, you know, folks contacting me that I said Fauci, one of the reasons he probably stepped down now, he's going to step down December, he thinks that the Republicans are going to take over the House and they're going to come after him and hold him accountable for a lot of this misinformation that he led the public. And even though he can still be subpoenaed to come before it, if he's not sitting in the CDC seat, it's a little bit easier, he's probably thinking.
Could be.
And I brought that up. Well, both Carlson and Hannity brought that up, that this is probably part of his strategy. Well, we didn't watch them. We pointed that out at 12 noon, live on Pacific Coast time. So quit telling me I'm a plagiarizer. Dadgummit.
Well, I
ain't smart enough to plagiarize. All this nonsense comes out of my own brain in real time.
And Farley.
I'm not like, I should say. Well, yeah, Biden's a plagiarizer.
Oh, well.
He doesn't care where he gets it from. He just what's in front of him. Go ahead. Yeah, step in here. Stop me. Yeah.
Can I make
Stop this rant.
Can I confess something to you?
Well,
today?
Well, Pearl, how private is this?
Well,
I mean, you want to go Dr. Phil?
It's for Republicans.
Now, Robert has a problem.
Boy, does
and
he.
Robert is going to share that problem with me and y'all. And we're going to see what we can do with it. Go ahead, Robert.
Well, Doc, I don't watch Hannity or Carlson anymore.
Well, that's a sign that there's something going on that we need to dig a little deeper in, don't you think?
I just think that this is, in my humble opinion, and people will disagree, especially for Sean Hannity, it's a lot of repetition. It says the same thing every night, all night. And with Tucker, I just stopped watching it because I just did. So I don't watch those guys. So you watch those folks for me. I like to dig into my own, sources.
Like that. I love it.
What minimal sources I have, and get information from both sides and make my own determination based on what's in front of me. I know that sounds pretty simplistic.
Sounds great to me.
I'm a simple man.
I wish more people would do that.
So I don't even watch those guys anymore. It just doesn't do much for me, and I don't know that I get much more informed watching those guys than I do anybody else. So I have to tell you, I'm not a big fan of network news of any kind, be honest with you, because it's all slanted in one way or the other, and it just you just have to do your own. And thank you for allowing me to be on here the last 7 or 8 months, whatever it's been, because I've done more research on my own in my own time,
kind of fun,
with my own resources or own sources, than I would ever get watching. Again, in my opinion, that I would ever get watching the TV,
right?
Watching the different newscasts. Now, obviously, there are certain things you can pick up, but I'm not a big fan of network news, any of that kind of stuff. I like to do my own thing.
Yeah,
and,
I encourage people to do that. And I really encourage others to do that. The reason I listen to all of them, like Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo when he was on, Carlson and Hannity, they are without a doubt influencers. There's a lot of people that will weight their opinion, give a greater weight to their opinion, and I think give too much credence in forming their own beliefs. They don't do the extra research on it, going on the internet or whatever, and just using your own common sense. But the reason, like on this show here, when we're talking to folks, there's a people out there that think that Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, everything they say is gospel. I say, hey, they say a lot of stuff I agree with, a lot of stuff that I don't. There's people listening. I know one who's a big critic of me on the show. I see the email, and it just, thinks all Republicans, and which I'm not a Republican, I'm an independent, but because I think that Trump is being unfairly targeted in terms of the Mar-a-Lago, the investigations in Russia. I mean, it's obvious that there's a collusion out there between the media, big tech, Democratic National Committee to go after and totally erase Trump from the political landscape. And, that's the voters' job to do that, not yours. But I listened to Don Lemon said, when Chris Cuomo was on, to hear their take on it, because there's people that, what Don Lemon says, what Jake Tapper, how his take on it.
Stelter.
And Brian Stelter.
Well,
and I just want to speak to
job.
those people. And if I don't know what they're saying, I can't either say, you know what, I think they have a good point, because I do believe I have an open mind. Or I can't say, hey, I think they're way off base. I'll say what Tucker Carlson, what in the world are you doing emphasizing UFOs and cattle mutilations when there's people being mutilated over in the Ukraine? Goodness gracious, son. I can call you son. I know you're 50-something years old, but I'm older than you. Leave that alone. Don't even put that on your Fox Nation deal. You know, the search for UFOs and saying the cattle mutilations are caused by UFO aliens coming out and sucking out brains and all of that stuff. I mean, I disagree with that. I disagree with some of his harsh tone and name calling. You know, you don't get very far, you know, when you just literally call a name. And I've gone in and said the word knucklehead. I wouldn't mind if Tucker, hey, that's a knucklehead move, or that's a knothead move, or what other things, you know, names that are kind of like our coaches called us. You know the difference, but you cross the line and you say somebody is a stupid idiot, and, you know, those, well, you can't take the conversation much further if you really want an open conversation on a particular subject when you start doing that. And they do it on CNN as well.
Do you think, Hoss, they do that? And I don't know. Like I say, I don't watch these guys, but first of all, name calling's never going to get you anywhere. It may make you feel better, but that's not really.
Well, it gets your ratings.
Well, that was going to be my question. Yeah. Are they doing this for the ratings to just generate to stir the pot?
Well, I believe that the feeling is sincere. They think that, you know, Joe Biden's an idiot. I'll say this may be an idiotic move. This is idiotic judgment. I will say things like that. This is insane policies, but I try to refrain from a mean name call. You know, I'll call people knuckleheads and say, I'll just plead guilty to that. That's too far over the line for some folks. I get it. I understand, but I'll probably say it again when I see it. But I think the fact, you know, there's a certain thing that real leaders have that is absent on the political scene for sure. And it was also healthy in a good way in the media, and that word is restraint. You know, to restraint. Walter Cronkite was a far left liberal, but he was restrained. I don't know what Huntley and Brinkley were, and that's a good thing to not know what political party.
Never knew.
You know,
never knew.
They reported the news, and then you had the opinion people. And I think in terms of Carlson and Hannity and Jake Tapper and Don Lemon, Stelter and those guys, they know there's a base, rock solid base that wants you to be the flamethrower.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people in boxing that they just hate and a boxer so much. Like when Muhammad Ali just decided he was going to avoid the draft, there was people that not only wanted to see him lose in the ring, they wanted to see him get beat up. They wanted to just beat up. Don't carry him. By carrying, that's a boxing term, meaning you could knock the guy out. Let's punish him. You know, just hold back a little bit and punish him. And Ali did that to a couple of fighters because he just hated him because the other fighters wouldn't call him Ali, still call him Cassius Clay. But I think there's a growing number of folks in both parties that have hatred, like Liz Cheney.
Oh,
she wants people to call Trump Satan, that he is Hitler-esque, that he is, you know, dehumanize him as much as possible. So I think in order to keep that base, which is going to be tuning you in every night, and say you've got 10 million. This is just a gut feeling. I don't have the data in front of me, so I got to use this disclaimer, Bobby. I think say there's 10 million that tune in to Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity on any given night. Say the same number for Don Lemon, which there's not. It's like less than 1 million, but I think at least 50% of those folks want you just to beat the living daylights out of who they disagree with.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any doubt.
Just like, you know, don't you? I mean, I say at least 50. My gut feeling is more like 65, 75%.
So I
And then the other 25% is like me. And you know,
so play to your base.
yeah.
Play to your
Well,
base
they're
audience.
paying, they're signing your paycheck.
Yeah, and
They're
if-
tuning in, watching those Mike Lindell commercials every other day. You know,
Yeah.
my slippers, my coffee, my
Because-
sheets. You know, I like. Don't get me wrong. I'm not picking. A lot of those, what they believe in, I believe strong border, energy independence, non-burdensome taxations for individuals, families, and businesses. All of those policies that were there before Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, before Donald Trump, those principles were conservative principles that served this country well. They didn't come up with them.
Yeah.
But go ahead. You need feedback here, and we'll take it.
Well, so I guess in answer to my question,
Did I answer it?
well,
At all? Okay, all right. I know, I get going.
Kind of danced around
I know.
like you used to do when you dropped back in the pocket. Kind of danced around.
That's
Stop
what
the
you
happy
called it,
feet.
a dance?
Stop the happy feet.
Well, I didn't want to get hit.
Remember Jordan?
Of course, you want to get hit back there, and you see these guys breathing snot coming at you. Want to put the helmet underneath your chin?
I was keeping him out of the
Well, you were.
backfield. Don't
You were.
worry about
Bobby was my center. We got to be very close.
it. Yes.
Everybody said I used to like to go on long counts. That is not true. I wanted to get underneath the center, go on one, get out from under that sucker as quick as
He
possible.
give you 30 minutes to cut that out.
Have you completely forgot what you were going to say? Have I derailed you? Because I
pretty
knew it was
much.
going to be criticism of me.
No. I was going to say, again, to reiterate, because my initial question is, are they doing this strictly for ratings purposes? And in order to continue to keep those ratings up and to keep the money flowing, because it all comes back to money, obviously, if you have the audience, you have to keep these controversial issues brewing, keep the pot stirred. And if it means calling somebody an idiot, so be it. Let's do that. Let's follow through with that, and we'll keep our base audience, and we'll keep our core group.
Yeah, I agree with it. And I'm going to make another statement. It's going to get me in trouble.
Oh, here we go.
But I believe it, Bobby. I believe it. Sadly, I don't want to say this, but I feel like I have to. I'm sensing in this country the political bases of those political bases. I'm talking about the Fox 24/7 watchers and the CNN 24/7 watchers, the ones that are just politically drunk, politically inebriated. And that can happen. It's happening big time.
I know some folks like that.
Yes. I truly believe out of that group, and I'm going to pull out a percentage, but based on my gut feeling, I believe it to be close. I would think 25% of that group would celebrate if Donald Trump had a heart attack and died tonight. Okay? Would celebrate like they'd got, like Zawahiri was shot, that bin Laden was shot dead. And I believe there's people on the right, about an equal amount, that would throw a party and have friends over, like-minded friends, if Hillary Clinton walked out in front of a subway train and was killed. They would have a party. And that bothers me. I can't remember an era in our lifetime when Nixon was being drummed out of office. I didn't get that feeling. And he was hated on the left. I didn't get that feeling, somewhat a little bit with Reagan. I think it probably started with Bush and the war. People, but I mean, you had, anyway, I don't know if
it's more about,
I hope I'm wrong.
It's more about revenge now.
But I mean revenge.
No, well, but you know,
that the world would be a better place if you weren't breathing.
No, yeah, well,
and you know,
I know a few folks like that.
Yeah. And it's tough to think that, like, come on, man. I mean, you know, what did they do deserving of death?
Pretty brutal.
That you would wish that on them. Yeah. You know, either one of them, Clinton or disagree like heck with them. I mean, you think they quote Abraham Lincoln? You think Abraham Lincoln wanted, there's his opponents, I forget his name, that ran against him, wanted them dead? He put him in his cabinet. Because he said, you represent people. Let's try to work together and work through our problems. So maybe we can get to the point you don't want to kill me. Maybe you just want to break a leg, you know, break my leg or break my arm a little bit, physically harm me, but let's make progress.
Was that Seward?
Seward.
William
I believe
Seward?
it was William Seward.
I'd have to look that up.
But you had guys like James Wilkes Booth that says, no, he's a tyrant. He's got to die.
Yeah.
And he acted upon it. You know. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. We got a lot of callers. Hang in there. Laura Sue Lane will get to you here. This is Alan Autry, No Retreat with Bullet Bob Leone. Don't you go away. And Brain, and Olive, keep working. We like being on the air, especially Chewy. He likes it. We'll be right back. Do you feel? Am I off base on that,
We got all kinds
Bobby?
of folks here.
Yeah.
Huh? With regard to what?
Well, just the thought that there's a lot of people would like to see certain politicians dead.
I can.
I
Well,
shudder at that.
not going to mention any names, but I know at least one who, and I don't want to put words in his mouth.
But you feel that vibe with them.
Oh, I think he would be. I don't know if he would be happy, but he would be pleased if Trump was no longer around.
I have a buddy I work out with the gym, and love him. He's a great guy in all other aspects, but he's so. He says, if I knew I could get away with it, I'd go kill them all.
All conservatives, all
the wokesters.
Oh, going back the other way.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Did you?
And I said,
look at him and say,
I won't say his name. I said,
what?
it's so inconsistent with the rest of who he is. I said, I remember.
But that's how passionate folks are.
Is that really passion?
Well, it's emotion. There's no doubt about that. And
Isn't it obsession? Because passionate means you'll really work hard for something. Obsession, work hard to do what's necessary and do the things that you get. Obsession means you will do anything.
That's probably a better word then. Yeah.
And obsession ain't good.
But that's scary. That's
oh my
scary.
gosh,
man.
I said to him, I said, Buddy, you don't feel that way. And he goes, yes, I do. I mean, he looked me right in the eye. And you see, when this comedian, Kathy Griffin, held up Trump's severed head. Yeah, we're just joking. When you hold up a severed head of it look like Trump, your mind has gone into, as Friedrich Nietzsche would say, into the shadows. Yeah. Carl Jung would say, you're back there in your subconscious, dark subconscious, and you need to work on a few things. You need to come out of that. Even in humor, there's a certain line that you don't cross, or if you do it, is a signal that you got some other stuff going on.
Yeah. That's you got bigger issues going on. About that.
1 minute?
Just stay away from me.
Oh my gosh. And it's a joyous show, folks. Thank you. I wish I could tell you more about the show, Tulsa King, that I did a guest spot on, but I can tell you that they're looking at the character to be a ongoing character. We won't know until probably late during the winter, because the show starts airing November 1st. It's 10 episodes. I'm in the last one, 10th show. Anything can happen. They could keep me on, write me out, recast it.
30 seconds.
We don't know yet, but I'll keep you posted.
I'll keep you posted on my my cameo.
Yes. When is that going to be?
As a prison guard in a movie that I can't remember the name.
Did you do your Strother Martin? What
we have here is a failure to communicate.
10 seconds.
Now, Luke, don't do that. Luke, don't do that.
He was great at it.
Oh, guys, if you haven't seen Cool Hand Luke, go online and watch it.
You're listening to the Alan Autry Show on the best talk in town. Talk Radio 1550 KXEX. Call Alan now, 559-899-1550.
And welcome back to Alan Autry No Retreat with Bullet Bob Leone. It's Taco Tuesday. And you know what I have in my hand here?
No.
I have the no calorie, no carbohydrate taco. You can eat as many of these as you want to and not gain any weight.
What kind of taste does that have?
Scrumptious.
Yeah?
It's just delicious.
Tastes like chicken?
Tastes like air. Air.
Hey,
It's my air taco.
I heard.
Air Jordan, we got air taco going. No calories.
I heard.
You just use your imagination. You imagine that taco, man. I guarantee you lose one. You got something before we go to the lines here? All right, let's go to
get those folks.
First, we'll go to let's go to Laura Fisher on Afghanistan, then Sue Lane. You guys hang in there. We'll be to you. Laura, you there?
I'm here.
You got a little update on Afghanistan?
I do, and it's not good.
Well, what do we expect, right?
A nonprofit organization called Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America released a report today. First, let's deal with the American side of this. 41% of Afghan veterans suffered severe psychological trauma as a result of the disastrous withdrawal. 4.5% of them committed suicide. All of those individuals stated the number one reason why they felt so much depression, so much despair, this is heartbreaking, was because they felt they left their fellow soldiers behind.
Mm-hmm.
And they felt guilty because they believed that the United States was going to uphold its promise to get them out. And they continued to enforce that to these soldiers, these Afghan allies who were embedded with them, that they were going to get them out. And then they had to leave them behind. And there were 96,000 SIVs waiting for processing and to get to this country. 14,000 we know of have been killed by the Taliban in the last year. 81,000 still remain in Afghanistan. Do you realize that's 96%? Of the total that they've been processing in the last year. The other ones are in lily pad countries that they've done nothing with. They're in Doha and they're in Abu Dhabi. Some of those in Abu Dhabi have been sitting there since September 1st, September 2nd of last year.
Laura and listeners, viewers, wasn't this so predictable? It wasn't a withdrawal. It was just a flat-out classic surrender.
Alan, they had 2 hours before the evacuation was set to begin. They did not have a plan. 2 hours before the first planes were supposed to depart.
Yeah.
From Karzai Airport.
Yeah.
They had no plan.
See, Laura, and I know we talked about this before, and Robert, I think we have to. This is where you've got to be very, very careful how you react to ineptitude, especially in the Oval Office. Ineptitude can be funny. You could be out having ice cream and be totally clueless. You can misquote and just hire people based on whether they check a box and not whether they can actually do the job. And you can look at that and go, okay, that's nice, that's cute. He's being politically correct, or that's all this. But here's a case where ineptitude causes, number one, an egregious and horrific loss of life. You have mental health issues that are going to last generations because of that ineptitude. Now, granted, when you're in a war zone and you have what they call the fog of war, when you experience that, I have buddies in Vietnam, experienced Vietnam, Robert, you and I, and it never leaves you, but you can minimize it to as least as possible by how you conduct things and to ineptly move out of Vietnam like we did. Did we not learn our lesson in Vietnam and see all of the mental health issues? And you do the same thing, Laura, in Afghanistan. And you've been speaking out against this, and this is, folks, why? Ineptitude, you got to call people out on ineptitude. Go ahead.
This is 1 year ago today that I first called into your show about this.
Yeah. Wow.
This is the anniversary of the first time I ever called into your show about this. And this is not ineptitude. This is not ineptitude because they were so focused on that ridiculous Build Back Better bill and other pure stupidity. They knew January 21st that we were going to be withdrawing from Afghanistan. They knew. They knew everything that needed to be done.
I stand corrected.
They could have started getting these people out at the first of February.
I stand corrected on that.
Ted Cruz.
I agree
and all
with
these
you.
People talk about we need to impeach Merrick Garland. No, you need to impeach Anthony Blinken.
Yes.
First day.
Yeah, I agree with you. All roads lead back to this individual. He should not. He's totally in there to enrich himself and his friends. It's obvious.
He's a murderer.
He did the same thing during this reckless withdrawal from Iraq. He was the architect of that, and which gave birth to ISIS. And you connect the dots back. They all lead to this fellow Blinken. I stand corrected. It was not ineptitude. It was an evil, horrific, well-planned surrender. And what came out of it? Well, who would do that? People that want to enrich themselves. And this gives. I wasn't going to get in this subject until tomorrow, but I want to ask you this. And Robert, get your take on it. Then Laura, if you stay online, your take. We only have about 10 minutes left. And those who call it in, please, I'll put you up first tomorrow. I promise. Sorry we didn't get to you. Wish we had a little bit more time, but I only got an hour in me. Is America really respected anymore around the world? Do people around the world really, really trust America to be the leader of the free world? Or is America looked at as, hey, you bring them on, they'll give you a little money as long as things are going good, but they'll tire for this fight for freedom and they'll leave you hanging. They'll leave you quicker. They'll drop you like a hot rock. It doesn't care how many people get killed, how many kids, women, children. They're just there for their length of time, and then politics, when it gets a little hot, they're going to be out of there. Do you think that we're looked at? I tend to think that the influence, America influences the world, is waning. Most of the countries don't want any part of us other than the money we can give them. They don't want our ideology. They don't want our culture. They don't want to mimic how we do things. The last time we did it, went over commitment, was during World War II. And we haven't committed. We didn't commit in Korea. We left in Korea. We left in Vietnam. We surrendered in Afghanistan.
I can say maybe the countries in their totality may not respect us as much, but I'm trying not to be upset.
Well, no, yeah, don't get upset. You're just hang in there.
But the same people that I talk to who are in hiding, they still believe in this country. They still want to be Americans, not just because they're afraid of the Taliban, because they truly believe in this country, and they believe what this country has to offer. And that breaks my heart more than anything. I mean, you're betrayed by someone, and you still believe in them.
Yeah. I mean, that's very humbling. As an American, it makes you want to do better. Robert, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's just an absolute crime. When we go into a country, we gain the support of certain locals within that country, and then we leave them high and dry. That's just an absolute crime. And Laura can certainly say it better than I can. But we did the same thing in Vietnam. We had a lot of in-country support from the folks there in Vietnam, and we left them high and dry.
Yeah, and we're going to do the same thing in the Ukraine. And we're going to do the same thing with the Ukrainians.
Yep. And the current regime in Afghanistan is going to hunt these poor folks down.
They already are.
And they already are. 14,000 of them have already been
and bear in mind,
executed.
ISIS-K is also hunting them.
What was that again, Laura? I'm sorry.
It's not just the Taliban hunting them. ISIS-K is hunting them. They're in a famine. They've had 3 earthquakes. They had most of these people. I mean, they're literally. I'm sending out $1,000 a month to keep them fed.
Yeah, it's
because the only thing I
just a crime.
Is money for food.
See, and this is why people ask me, Laura, why they listen to the show actually. Just why are you always pounding on Biden? And I always tell him, I keep my cool. I said, you know what? As soon as he stops giving me reasons to, I'll stop criticizing him. I mean, I can't. When you leave like he left, you let soldiers get blown up. You don't defend Bagram Air Force Base. You let this suicide bomber in there. You know who he is. You let basically the Taliban let people in and out. They get to scrutinize people. It's all insane and crazy. And then you refuse to answer any questions about Afghanistan. You mark my words.
And then
He will not answer as the elections come closer. He'll just say, "I'm just not." He's not going to answer them.
Or they're lying. They lie. The State Department, Jack Kirby came out and said, "Oh, we have 4 evacuation flights going out every week." No, they don't. They have 1, and there's less than 30 people on the plane. I know that because Naveed's friend just got evacuated last Thursday, and he texted Naveed and told him there were less than 30 people on a commercial jet. 1 flight. It's going to take them 18 years to get those people out at the rate they're going. And on top of that, the State Department has now cut out congressmen from the loop because so many congressmen are hounding them, wanting to know about evacuation. So now they've cut them out of the loop with the CARES team. Found that out today from Sue Bauer with Mike Waltz's office. Mike Waltz is furious.
Well, and the thing that disturbs me is I'm seeing this country started, well, they have for a long time, this slippery slope of not really caring if they're lied to. As long as I got enough to live on, and I'm happy that I don't care what the politicians say. I don't know if it's true. They say that they all lie. Well, yeah, you're right, but I subscribe to the belief that not all lies are equal. I just don't believe some mistakes are bigger than others. When mistakes cost lives, it's bigger than the mistake that you have a policy decision on a gender-neutral bathroom. I'm sorry, this is not a knock against the LGBTQ community. That discussion may be a worthy one to have in society, and mistakes are made on both sides. But there's when you make mistakes and you lie, and that lie results in people getting killed, then that has to be something that has to count for something. You can't just swat that away and put it under the bridge. Well, they all lie. Well, no, stand up to those lies and have the guts to stand up if it's coming from somebody you heretofore have believed in. That's when it gets tough. Oh gosh, I
can tell you right now, I already sent to my congressman this morning because I can't even tell you how disgusted and angry I am. I wrote down a comprehensive list of the war crimes that Anthony Blinken committed in Afghanistan.
Good for you.
It to him.
You keep it. You are bad government's worst nightmare, Laura Fisher. You and people like you.
When is that guy
an
going to be held
informed,
accountable?
an intelligent, informed, compassionate individual who is committed to doing the right thing and defending the defenseless. Which our country has made our name on supporting those who couldn't help themselves, the poor, the downtrodden, countries around the world. You are, and you just keep up the fight. As I said, though, this is a marathon, and you can't let it wear you down. And I know how emotional you get about it, and I hear you, and I do too. You just don't let them get the best of you. This is going to be a long fight, and you keep writing those letters.
So far, and I'm still going strong.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's.
I got one out. So.
Well, I appreciate you calling in. This is a story, unfortunately, that we're going to stay, in touch with. We're not going to just throw it away for and turn the page. We're not going to do that. We're going to touch it from time to time and do our little bit, because you know what? If everybody does their little bit, sometimes, well, almost all the time, a lot of little bits add up to a whole lot.
I would like everyone out there that's listening to this right now, call your congressman.
There you go.
Call your congressman, email your congressman, skip one latte at Starbucks and give it to No One Left Behind, Task Force Argo. Any one of these NGOs is helping to try to get these people out of that country.
Why don't you do this for me real slowly if you can? Do you have a contact number for like one of the reputable organizations that people could, like a website or a number?
No One Left Behind and Task Force Argo, both. Task Force Argo is taskforceargo.com.
Okay, easy to read. Remember, Task Force Argo? You say?
Argo. Just like from Iran, the Project Argo.
ARGO.
ARGO, right? Taskforceargo.com.
And No One Left Behind. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them easily on the internet.
Okay.
They're all over the place. And they are actually still actively getting people out as best they can. They're helping with resettlement. in getting these people settled here in this country, those that have gotten out, and they're helping in both of the humanitarian cities in Doha and Abu Dhabi.
All right.
To provide
Laura,
everything
appreciate
from
you.
legal resources.
Appreciate you calling in, girl. And the other callers, again, we'll get to you tomorrow. Thanks for calling. Like I said, this hour just flies by. Robert, any last thoughts on Taco Tuesday? I know you wanted those scrumptious tacos I was eating.
Well, I like those because although they may not have any taste, they also don't have any calories.
They have no calories.
Which I've been working
No
very
carbs.
hard to, and no carbs, which I've been working very hard
Which turns to sugar, by
to
the way.
do. I realize that.
I didn't know that till late in life.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but, on the pizza, it wasn't the cheese and the pepperoni that was putting the weight on you. It was the dough.
Well,
Well, we do a quick transition,
in
don't we,
college-
from Afghanistan to pizzas.
In college, I lived on Mr. Good Bars and Beer. So what's that tell?
Well, it made you a superstar here. You gave
all the
Bullet
four
Bob.
food groups.
Oh, folks, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you so much. Can't wait for tomorrow. It'll be what? Wondrous Wednesday, I guess. But just remember, do your best. Let God do the rest. You do that, things will turn out exactly like they're supposed to. God bless and love y'all. Bye-bye now.
Keep smiling